In today's episode, I'm going to tell you some secrets that even the best IELTS trainers fail to put into words. Many IELTS candidates make their speakings a bit boring and monotonous even when there are no apparent mistakes. But all that is going to change, and I promise you that by the end of this video, you will have gained some crucial information on how to make your IELTS speakings more effective. The first secret is that IELTS speaking is not a test of your knowledge, it is a test of your conversational English. Conversational is the key word. In IELTS interviews, the examiners judge your speakings on the basis of 4 parameters. Number 1 is fluency. In this, the examiners observe whether you're able to speak non-stop, without breaks and pauses, and without self-correction. Number 2 is lexical resource. Under this, the examiner determines whether you're able to use less common words or not, or whether you are good at paraphrasing or not. Number 3 is grammatical range and accuracy, and this is actually very important. In this, the examiner determines whether your sentences are structured well or not, and whether you are applying proper grammar or not. And lastly, number 4 is pronunciation, in which, the way you pronounce words is observed, and your vocal tone is also taken into account, which is the rise and fall in your vocal pitch, and this can be very effective in interlacing proper mood with your words. Therefore, it is safe to say that you're not judged by how much you know, but how effectively you are able to converse in English. If the examiner asks you a question about, let's say, economics, and you don't know shit about economics, it is not a good idea to just sit there silently and wait for the next question. Instead, you can say that, unfortunately, I'm not equipped enough to answer this question intelligently at the moment, but I will surely look into it because it sounds very interesting. Fluency, grammar, lexical resource, and pronunciation, all taken care of. So if you don't know something that they ask you, there is no need to panic at all. It is so much better to say that you don't know the answer instead of just sitting there dumbfounded, waiting for the next question. Secret number 2. Not every question needs to be answered with the word because. If you keep on answering all the questions by using because, it's going to sound like you're simply trying to justify your likes and dislikes. For the sake of example, let's say the examiner asks you, do you like texting? And you say, yes, I like texting because it is very quick and convenient, and when I text, people around me are less distracted. Instead of saying this, if you say, oh yes, it is a very quick and convenient service, and when I choose to text rather than make a phone call, people around me are less distracted, so I prefer to text. I think the second answer sounds better. It sounds more genuine and authentic, and your words are much more believable as opposed to when you're simply trying to justify your answer by saying because. The third secret is that it is always better to introduce your cue card with a backstory. Now, the part 2 of your IELTS speaking is kind of like a storytelling session. You'll be given a topic and you'll have to speak on it. Now, you will be required to think outside the box and invent some new information in order to make your story more gripping. Something that you can do is introduce your story with a backstory. Let me explain. Suppose your topic is describe a time when you got lost in a place you did not know about. Now, instead of straight away diving into the event of you getting lost, it would be a good idea to first talk about why you were at that place to begin with. Suppose you went to a new city and you got lost there, or you went to a big mall that you didn't know about and you got lost in that mall. Don't just start with the actual event of you getting lost. Instead, tell the examiner your purpose of being there in the first place. You might start like, last summer, me and my friend decided to go to the city of Shimla. We had heard a lot of good things about this place, and we finally made a plan to visit this city. And then you can start talking about how was your journey, how much time it took for you to get there, and then you can come to the main event at around the 60-second mark. It could be something like, we were walking down a market, it was very crowded, and I was taking pictures in the camera when I suddenly realized that my friend is no longer by my side. I tried to search for him, I tried to call out his name, and I also tried to call him on his cell phone, but the network in that city was very weak. The point is that if you simply start with the main event of the story, then your story will not come across as interesting. Now, secret number 4 is more of a secret cum advice about overusage of words and phrases. Now, your goal in IELTS interview is to sound authentic and genuine. If you sound like a robot, you will be penalized. Now, if you have learned some new words and phrases that you think are impressive, you might be tempted to use them too often. But doing so will dramatically lessen their impact and make it sound like you only have a limited selection of words and phrases. These may include words and phrases like moreover, furthermore, I think so, I don't think so, in addition, on the one hand, on the other hand, for example. If you're someone who uses 2 or 3 of these words and phrases in their entire 20-minute long interview, this can be undesirable. But using all of these and then some more will impress the listener and make your speech much more rich, consequently fetching you a better score. Secret number 5 deals with facial expressions. If there are no facial expressions when you speak, it could get really awkward really fast. Your speech would start to sound very weird, and the examiner won't even understand the context and intention of your speech, and this is a perfect recipe for disaster. You see what I mean? Now, when we are engaged in conversation with someone we meet for the first time, we try to be at our best self. And this should certainly be the case when you're trying to impress someone who is going to give you band score, alter your life path, and potentially change your future. What I mean to say is, let your face do the talking as well. Maintain healthy eye contact, especially during these difficult times when wearing a mask is necessary during IELTS speakings. So along with your lips, let your eyes and hands do the talking as well. It would really make your interaction more synergetic. Secret number 6 deals with voice modulation. Now, according to the mood of your sentences, the tone of your voice will change as well. If you're talking about something exciting, your pitch would go up, and if you're talking about something sad and disappointing, you would speak in a low tone. And when you're telling a story, your tone would become more dramatic to add some flair and style. This act of modulating your tone of voice can really make you sound much more enjoyable and fulfilling. If luck is on your side, this X factor can really work in your favor in a way that even your minor mistakes might get neglected. One of my favorite orators is Dr. Jordan Peterson, who also happens to be one of my favorite authors. If you get a chance, please do watch this video in which his tone of voice really delivers the essence of his speech, and by doing so he leaves an unforgettable impact on his listeners. If you can make your vocal tone follow your intentions, you too can really make an impact on the listener. And remember, everyone loves dramatization. And finally, the 7th and arguably the most important secret that I can spill is that you should keep it simple. There is absolutely no need to feel pressurized to sound more impressive, because when you do that, you're wasting precious seconds fishing for fancy words when you probably don't even have to. Keeping it basic and raw can be such an incredible advice at times, and it is often overlooked, and I'm so glad that I had someone to tell me this in my own practice sessions. When we generally converse with people, we don't reply to sound more impressive, we reply to keep the conversation going, and you should do the same in your IELTS interview as well. It would sound so much more natural, and your flow and fluency would improve as well. Moreover, your brain would provide you with the fancy vocabulary when you actually need it. So let that process be seamless and intuitive. Smile more, laugh a little, don't stress about anything, and let your instincts guide you. Try to implement these secrets one by one, because it could be a little bit overwhelming when you try to implement all of them together in your practice sessions. 7 secrets, practice them all, one every day, and after a week you'll be in a much better position as a speaker. I really hope you enjoyed watching this video, and if you did, leave it a thumbs up and please subscribe. My next episode would be about how to improve English in just 3 steps. If you don't want to miss out on it, please subscribe and press the bell icon. I'll see you all very soon. Until then, stay inspired and have a lovely day. Bye-bye.